Welcome, guys, to the Meet Damien live stream. I am Damien, and today's live stream we're going to be taking a look at the price of Bitcoin. Currently trading at $78,000, getting a little bit of a bounce off of the $74,500 level, which is a key support level. That was like the last of the last support levels because that was an area where Bitcoin was at back in April of last year. And that was the lowest price you could have got Bitcoin last year. Now it looks like we're revisiting those lows all over again here on the price of Bitcoin. We sliced through some levels here that were that would have acted as support for us. We had the $84,500 level that was supposed to act as support because this was a level that acted as support back here in December 1st here. Okay. And we sliced through that level here. We actually went through another level that, if I turn the VRVP indicator here, the volume profile indicator, there was some high volume here at around I believe 81K. Yeah, there's a value area high. Yeah, value area high at 83K, but you can see some high volume here at 82K, somewhere around there. But we lost that on Saturday after there was some explosions in Iran, and there was probably a possible attempt on one of the leaders there, one of the lives of the leaders there over in Iran, and that sent us down here on Saturday, down 6% on Bitcoin, and we know that the altcoins took a bigger beating than Bitcoin did, but that was enough to push us over the edge, push us off the cliff to actually go and drop below 80K. 80K was what? An area that we thought would act as support. 80,500 is where Bitcoin came down to on November 21st. We came down lower than that here on Saturday going into Sunday here. Sunday we came as low as 75,600, and then Sunday night we actually went down to 74,500 and got the bounce off that level there. 74,500, that was a level here that we hit back here in April of last year. 74,420 and 69 cents. Somebody was funny enough to do that on Coinbase, where they bought Bitcoin at $74,420 and 69 cents on April 7th here. And that was the lowest price you could have got Bitcoin at that time. And 74,553 here on April 9th. Okay, that was an area that acted as a double bottom, which then sent us off to higher prices. Could this end up being a triple bottom here for Bitcoin at 74,500? I'm trying to remain optimistic here on Bitcoin, but we don't really have that much left for support here on Bitcoin. Okay, we have to stay above 74,500 if we're going to continue being bullish here on Bitcoin and crypto. Okay, because we are clearly below a lot of levels here, below the 200-day moving average, below the 100-day, below the 50-day, below the 21 EMA. Below the volume profile levels that are above us. We're near rock bottom, okay? And this is an area where I think some bulls have been trying to take some shots at. Some people were thinking Bitcoin could go to 74K, and it did that. It did that yesterday. But could Bitcoin go back there again and maybe allow more people to try to buy in that area? Maybe. We'll take a look at the charts to see if that's going to happen for anybody here. Alright, but Sunday was your opportunity to buy some relatively cheap Bitcoin if you could. But if Bitcoin's going to get any cheaper than that, right, levels to look for a downside below us, alright? We do have, obviously a volume node here at 75K, 74K, but then there's a gap here, and you don't get much support until you get up to 71K. 71K, and then 69K, 67K is an idea here, and then also 63K. Those are levels to be looking for to the downside. You can mark it on your chart, put like a red horizontal line here, okay? Then I'm going to put that for now. That 63K is an area that should act as support for now. We'll just mark that on the chart. So if I throw out the VRVP indicator here, oh, did I put it as a horizontal ray? I wanted a horizontal line there. So I want a horizontal line at this area. There we go. So we got that horizontal line in there for Bitcoin. And that's what we'll see. If we continue to go to lower prices here, we'll see Bitcoin go below 70K and hit maybe 63K here. However, let's see if we're actually going to be able to climb back up to 84K, right? 84K, 84,500 is an area which, you know, was acting as support, but now that we're below it, we're going to probably see that as resistance if we do climb up back up to higher prices here. Now, let me get into the momentum indicators here on the 1 hour time frame. Try to figure out what Bitcoin might do next in the next few hours here. This is my day trading time frame that I like to look at when I'm trying to figure out what the day trading action is going to be like over the next 12 to 24 hours here. And on the 1 hour time frame here on the MACD, the momentum indicator is showing that momentum is failing here and going to the downside. Buying pressure is dying off right now. Okay, you had your buying pressure here. You know, it started coming in here last night at 2 a.m. Eastern time. Continue on throughout the morning here, the morning hours. And then Wall Street could have put the nail on the coffin on us, but they didn't. Well, I think Wall Street might have did some buying too. Well, looks like around like 12 p.m. Eastern time here, the buying pressure started dying off here over the last few hours. And that might be a result of Wall Street no longer, you know, right now Wall Street is closed for business. They're bankers, right? They have banker hours. They get done at 4 p.m. Eastern time, and right now it's 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. So you no longer have Wall Street buying Bitcoin. Now it's up to retail to try and buy some Bitcoin tonight. If not, you know, it looks like buying pressure is falling off here, and we could see, you know, Bitcoin go to lower prices from where they are right now. Okay, at least on the 1 hour time frame. Now, you know, if Bitcoin does go to lower prices, right, maybe we might be able to get, you know, I mean, how many people were lucky enough to buy Bitcoin yesterday at $74,000 or $75,000? We might see that one more time here, where we come down, revisit 75, 74K, maybe make a double bottom, get some more buyers to show up here, and then you get, you know, your little W formation, double bottom pattern here, where Bitcoin, you know, could create a double bottom out of this area, right? Right, you got your one bottom right here, and then possibly another bottom that could be formed, you know, maybe later on tonight, going into tomorrow morning, is where we could see Bitcoin maybe revisit 74, 75K. That's what I see here on the charts here. Because of the MACD is showing buying pressure dying down, because market cipher B is showing a red sell dot here on the 1 hour time frame. That came in at 2 p.m. Eastern time, and money flow is starting to curve back down. So, you know, maybe you guys might be able to buy some cheaper Bitcoin. For my day traders, you might be able to do a long on Bitcoin later on tonight. So pay attention to that. You know, we might see some lower prices here on Bitcoin later on tonight based on what this 1 hour time frame is showing me on the market cipher B indicator and on the MACD indicator. Now let me get into the chat to see what you guys have to say so far about what I'm talking about here with Bitcoin. Let's see, we got a few people that showed up in the chat here. OFG, I see you in the chat, and I see just a guy here. Let me just scroll back to see what the comments have been saying here. I see Aaron is in the live stream, liking the live here. Thank you, Aaron. Guys, don't forget to double tap your screen here on TikTok to send that like. Let TikTok know that we got a good live stream going on here. Get some more people to show up. And then for my YouTube guys, you just gotta smash that like button here for me. I appreciate that. Let me know that you know that you guys appreciate this technical analysis here on Bitcoin. We'll get into some of your requests here. I know you guys probably want to look at some of your altcoins, maybe. Look at something else besides Bitcoin. Maybe you guys want to look at gold and silver. Gold and silver had like a little bit of blow off top last Friday. And then, you know, we could always look at anything else, you know, stock market. If you guys got some stocks you guys want to talk about, we can talk about those stocks as well. Let me see. OFG says, yo, Damien. Yo to you, OFG. He then says, Bitcoin is in a downtrend. Change character previous week before the previous week on the daily. Okay. You're talking about like a change of character or change of structure here. Let's see. So, OFG, you think we're going to make another lower high and then dump again? That's a possibility here. We'll look at the 1 hour time frame to figure that out, if it's, you know, what it needs to do to make higher highs here. Strong Gull says fill them gaps and then we'll send it back down. Yeah, I think some people were talking about like a CME gap above us at like 81, 82K on my Discord channel. And that's a possibility that, you know, Bitcoin could go to like 82K, 83K. But, you know, gaps can take a while to get filled too. It doesn't have to happen like, you know, today or tomorrow. It could happen like, you know, later on this week or next month. Okay. But, you know, usually the CME gaps do get filled. We just don't know when. Just a guy says, you really think it will not even going to get cheaper than that? But I mean, Bitcoin could go down to like 50 or 40K. I have put up some videos here on YouTube and TikTok saying that I think Bitcoin could go down to like 43K. Looking at like the 50-month moving average is where that's sitting at, and also looking at the volume profile indicator. Let's see. If just a guy says if it goes to 60K, then the bulls will buy in seconds. Will pull instantly to 80K. You know, I think 60K is an interesting area for Bitcoin. Because you can make the justification, like, just think about it. If you're brand new to Bitcoin, you haven't bought a Bitcoin yet, you could buy it at 78K or 80K, but, you know, are you going to be able to double your money? I mean, if Bitcoin goes back to all-time highs again at 126K, you're not really going to double your money, right? You would need Bitcoin to go to like 160K or 150K, you know, to double your money right now on Bitcoin. But if Bitcoin goes to 60K, you can make the rational justification that if Bitcoin just goes back up to 126K all over again, you'll double your money. So I think the new buyers might not start showing up until we get to 60K on Bitcoin. That's my opinion. That's how I game plan things out in my head over here. Let's see what else we're saying here. If it goes to 60K, yeah, alright, we already talked about that. If it fills the CMA gap at 93K something, then we'll probably be bullish. Maybe. Sure Girl says, will it go to 65K? It might. It might. That's why we try to take a look at the charts here. Looks like you guys are interested in looking at the bigger picture here. I'm kind of on the 1 hour time frame, trying to figure out what Bitcoin might do tonight. But it sounds like you guys want to know what Bitcoin's going to do like later on this month and later on this year. So let me just finish off here on the analysis here on the 1 hour time frame. We do see that buyers are still showing up here for Bitcoin at these low prices. You can see that we have some higher lows here showing up on the 1 hour time frame. Okay, we'll see if we're going to sell off and make another higher low on the RSI and then see this price go up to higher prices. But a sell-off, I think, could send us down to like 75K or 74K all over again one more time here later on tonight. We'll see. That's why we got to pay attention to the charts here. Okay, but let's zoom out, because you guys are like over here like, are we going to go to you know, 60K or lower than that? You know, are we going to hit 93K and be bullish again? I'm on the weekly time frame, and, you know, we got some interesting moving averages for the guys who use moving averages here. There's a 200 moving average on the weekly time frame that shows, you know, we could get support at 58K for you know, $60,000 Bitcoin guys out there. That's an idea where, you know, anybody that's using the simple moving averages here, the 200 moving average is sitting at 58K. So maybe Bitcoin does come down there, gets a bounce, and you know, maybe that's the bear market low. Maybe if we're in a bear market, that's as low as Bitcoin goes. It's like 58K, 60K. That's an idea here. Okay. Let me show you on the monthly time frame the moving averages here, or the one and only, or two moving averages here. There's a 50 moving average here on the monthly time frame that shows that you know, Bitcoin could get some support here at 37K. All right. Now, granted, by the time the price of Bitcoin actually drops down to, like, you know, in this area, this moving average is actually creeping up. So maybe by the time the price does go down, it will actually bounce off this green line near like 40K or 43K. And I think like 40K, 43K for Bitcoin is an interesting area for Bitcoin to get a bounce, because that would be the same price that the Bitcoin ETFs got started at. When we saw Bitcoin ETFs started showing up here in America around January of 2024, was like when Bitcoin was at 40, 43K, and then we saw Bitcoin go up to like 50K. Let me just show you, like, here, 2024, in January 2024, we opened up at 42K, okay, right over here, okay, and we did get as high as like 49K, and then came back and closed the month off at 42,500. This is when the Bitcoin ETFs started coming into play here. And of course, you know, the month of February was a good month, and then going into March as well, okay, when the Bitcoin ETFs got involved here. All right, so I think that's an area that we could get some cheaper Bitcoin. And if we go to 40K on Bitcoin, I mean, think about it. If you're a new buyer, if you're brand new to Bitcoin and crypto, you'd be like, all right, I could buy Bitcoin at 40K. And if we go to 120K, that's like a triple in my investment. Seems a lot more exciting to buy Bitcoin at 40K than it does, you know, 78K, right? So I think 40K is a possibility here. And let me just throw on the VRVP indicator, because I think the VRVP indicator was showing like a high volume node there. You can see like there's some high volume here around like 40K. A little bit of high volume here. You also got some volume here at like 46K to like 47K. So that's some areas where, some ideas where, you know, this high volume node here is kind of confluent with this 50-month simple moving average here on the monthly time frame for Bitcoin. Okay, so that's an idea. Okay, that's an idea for how low Bitcoin could possibly go here. Let's see what else you guys are saying here. OFG says only time can prove it. Cheryl Girl says, will it go to 65K? I mean, it could. It could go to 65K, especially if it's going to be on its way to 40K. We have to go to 65. We have to go to 65K first before we go to 40K here. Just a guy says, we are newbies. Okay. And then FX Jack says, guys, I have a VIP premium. Oh my God. Do I need to get rid of you? Yeah, I'm just going to mute you for now. Don't be doing that now. Those, yeah, you're not going to be able to say that there. Alright. John Bick says, ready guys for the next killer entry? I am. What is this? People trying to advertise on my TikTok live stream, trying to get people to sign up for their programs and signal groups and stuff like that. Can you like leave us alone here? I might have to mute you too, John. Yeah, I'm gonna mute you for now. Alright. Where is Lorene? Lorene, are you in the live stream right now? Because I got some people here that are kind of being annoying right now. Alright. So that guy's been muted. Let's see. Just a guy says 43 grow. That is insane bearish. Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility, you know. Bitcoin dropping from 126K to 43K, that's a 66% drop, right? I believe. Let me just measure that out real quick here. We go from 126K down to 43K. It's about a 65% drop. We've seen Bitcoin do that in previous bear markets. You know, let's look at the 2021 bear market, right? Where we saw Bitcoin go as high as 69K and then get dropped down to like 15,500. How much of a drop was that? %77 drop. So, you know, that would actually make a lot of sense, you know, because the bear markets are becoming less violent here on Bitcoin. We did a 77% drop on Bitcoin in 2021. We could do a 65% drop here in 2026 here for Bitcoin. Oh, did I say 2021? Well, yeah, 2021 going into 2022. So we could see a 65% drop here from, like, you know, going from 2025 into 2026 here for Bitcoin. That wouldn't be out of character for Bitcoin. That would just be another bear market. All right, I see Lorene's on the chat. Lorene, I appreciate you coming in here. I know you're one of the moderators here. Let me just double check, make sure you got moderating capabilities here. All right, let's see. Let me just add you as a moderator here, Lorene. So Lorene, you're now moderating here. We did have some people that were trying to advertise on my live stream here. So if you just like mute them, you don't have to block them. They can still watch, but just don't be advertising your stupid services here on my live stream. You know, because then I got to worry about, you know, are they trying to scam my followers? And I don't want people getting scammed here either. Rashad says, how do you actually see when the market moves instead of playing replay? And just a guy says that this bear market could probably take a year. Yeah, that's usually how long bear markets last in Bitcoin. Is like whatever the all-time high was. In this case, it was like October of last year. I think a lot of people are expecting, a lot of the crypto OGs and Bitcoin OGs like myself are expecting, you know, Bitcoin to actually bottom out in like October of this year. So maybe we do go down to like 40K maybe even 30K. Who knows? But yeah, maybe we go down to 40K, and it's going to be a slow bleed because, you know, the bulls are going to try to fight and say, this is still a bull market. This is still a super cycle or something like that. You know, whatever they're holding on to. You know, they're going to just start drawing, you know, trend lines and be like, oh, it's still an uptrend. It's still an uptrend until it's no longer an uptrend, right? But I think that's what's going to happen here with, you know, Bitcoin. It's going to be a slow bleed. It's going to take some time. It doesn't die off quickly. There will be some bounces. There will be some bear market rallies that are going to look like, you know, like you know, this is the bottom. All right. And we really won't know what the bottom is until it actually does bottom out. But there's some clues here that we can look for bottoming out, right? If I just go into the MACD here on the monthly time frame, right now, you know, the MACD is showing that we have red selling pressure here, okay, on the monthly time frame for Bitcoin, okay. But, you know, when did the selling pressure die off in the bear market last year? Well, the selling pressure died off in like September of 2022, okay. And when you started seeing light pink candles showing up, it showed up here in October, and then it showed up in November. November was actually the bottom of the bear market for Bitcoin in November of 2022. And then you saw the selling pressure continue dying off going into December, and then January, and then February, and then you didn't really get a MACD flip. You didn't see a green candle show up here until July of 2023. Now, I don't think you have to wait that long, right? You just need to see, you know, is the selling pressure going to die off here on the market, on the MACD indicator? And it's not. It's actually, selling pressure is getting worse. Okay, so I don't think we're near the bottom of Bitcoin. Okay, because you would need to see at least, you know, some pink candle showing up here, showing that selling pressure is dying off on the monthly time frame. Okay, looking at the weekly time frame, let's see what the weekly time frame shows here. Right now, the weekly time frame is showing that we had selling pressure dying off here in January, but now it's starting to increase again as we go into February here. And then back, you know, let's see, going into you know, the bear market of last cycle in 2021 and 2022. Yeah, they had the selling pressure dying off in like February and January of 2022. Then they had a little bit of buying pressure here in April 2022, and then the selling pressure came back in again. And then you know, going into like July of 2022, you saw some buying pressure showing up, but like Bitcoin was still, you know, kind of going down. So I don't think the weekly time frame is really good to see as far as like, you know, using the MACD and figuring out when Bitcoin's bottoming out or close to bottoming out. You really got to go into the monthly time frame. Okay, and the monthly time frame, or maybe in the 2 week, but like the monthly time frame will show you on the MACD indicator here, you know, when is this selling pressure gonna stop? You know, in this case, the selling pressure kind of stopped here in September 2022. There was still a couple of bad months where it kind of, you know, the prices did drag down a little bit further, but you can see that the violent selling pressure just died off here in September of 2022, and then, you know, it continued to die off going into 2023. We need to see that, but right now I think we're just getting started on this bear market here on Bitcoin, right? Unless we start seeing like light pink start showing up where the selling pressure starts dying off, you know, in like March, right? If we see the selling pressure dying off in March or even February here, I think, you know, we're just getting started with the bear market here on Bitcoin. Unfortunately, I hate to say it like that. You know, I know you guys don't want to hear that, but that's what I'm seeing here on the charts. You know, doesn't mean that you can't still dollar cost average. Doesn't mean you can't buy cheaper Bitcoin. If anything, I think you guys should be getting excited that you might be able to get some cheaper Bitcoin in the next month or two, or in the next 6 months here. You should try to, you know, see it for it being a buying opportunity, right? Try to be positive here. You know, I know there's a lot of negativity out there, but this could be a benefit for a lot of people who are trying to buy some cheaper Bitcoin here. Larry Q says he'll buy around 45K. That's an idea. I myself would not try to buy Bitcoin until we actually get into the 60K area, because I don't even trust 70K and whatnot. I think we still have to go lower than 70K. Just you know, make sure that we are actually getting, you know, some relatively cheap Bitcoin here. Because, you know, when you buy Bitcoin at 60K, you can then say, all right, if it goes back to 120K, you double your money. Thank you, Lorraine, for sending me the gifts here. I appreciate that. You are awesome, Lorraine. Lorraine's over here sending me a heart puff, sending me roses, sending me an ice cream cone. She's one of the best here. I appreciate that, Lorraine. Let's see. Constantino, you follow me here on TikTok. Thank you for following me here. Professor says, what do you think is happening right now, because it's going up and down a few $1,000s? I just got off of the 1 hour time frame, and I went into the monthly time frame, because people are asking me like, well, how low do you think Bitcoin's gonna go, and when do you think we'll actually go into a bull market again? Well, I kind of showed you guys why I think, you know, the bear market is just getting started here. I mean, I felt like it started in November, but you know, I understand that there could have been like you know, it could have been a correction and not really a bear market, but I felt like the bear market started in November. I was getting bearish in November, and I was selling my spot bags in November of last year, and I finished selling the rest of my spot bags in January, only because I didn't want to take too much profit all in 1 year, because here in America you gotta report your taxes, and if you make too much money in 1 year, then you gotta pay taxes, and I try to break it up by selling in January, so that way I don't have to pay taxes on those spot bags until 2027. But anyways, you want to know what's going to happen in the next few hours, next few days maybe? Let's look at the 1 hour time frame again, and we'll look at what Bitcoin has done here and where it could go next here. On the 1 hour time frame, you know, we know that Bitcoin came to 74,500, and that was an area where we saw that $74,500 level back in April of last year. That was the lowest price you could have got Bitcoin of in last year. So we came down, tested that support level. Okay, now we're climbing back up. If we were to continue climbing up, we could get rejected off of this 1 hour 50 moving average here at 80,300. Okay, however, I think what ended up happening was we, on the 15-minute time frame, we just got above the 200 moving average. Okay, on the 15-minute time frame, and usually when you do that, you kind of have to like maybe test it again as support, which we did just now. We came down to this 200 moving average, that red line right there, and we're using that as support for now. But if we're not going to actually push through, like, we got to actually continue pushing up to make some higher highs there, or else, you know, some of these bulls are going to start worrying that we don't have the momentum to go to higher prices here. Okay, what I'm worried about here on the 15-minute time frame is maybe getting rejected off this 21 EMA. Like, we kind of already did get rejected off the 21 EMA on the 15-minute time frame. Right here at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time, you can see like this green wick came right up to that white line. We got rejected. We could try to maybe come back up to it again at $78,400 Bitcoin. But if we get rejected again here, then guess what? We're probably going to go to lower prices. We're probably at least test this 200 moving average one more time here on the 15-minute time frame. But a rejection off this 21 EMA is going to be a problem. All right. Now let's go into the MACD to figure out, you know, do we have momentum to go to higher prices here, right? This is where I like to figure out, you know, what is the direction of the market for Bitcoin here. You can see that we had selling pressure come in over the last few hours here, but then selling pressure is kind of dying down. So if we could keep doing this, then you might see higher prices here for Bitcoin, and you might see Bitcoin actually, you know, test the highs of the day, where we got up to like what? I don't think, did we get up to 79,000? Yeah, we actually did. We got up to like 79,339 at 10:30 a.m. Eastern time here. Okay, so maybe we might retest those highs again later on tonight, based on this 15-minute time frame. When we look at the money flow, see, we have the money flow here for that. Money flow was in the red here this afternoon. Like, it was in the green, you know, earlier this morning, but now money flow is in the red here. You did get a green buy dot here at 4 p.m. and you know, if money flow continues increasing, then you will see higher prices here. Matter of fact, look at this. We just seen $78,400. So did we get above that 21 EMA on the 15-minute time frame? It looks like we're trying to. We just did we get rejected one more time here? Remember, this 21 EMA is pretty important moving average. You should add it to your charts here. This white line here, 21 EMA on the 15-minute time frame, is acting as resistance right now. Okay, as I start to zoom in a little bit, this is acting as resistance for now. I mean, we could still maybe try again, you know, in the next 15 minutes to see if we get a green candle above it. All right, or maybe we do that just now. We still got 6 more minutes left in this candle to close. But we are trying, it looks like we're trying to push right through right now as I look at this. So there you go. We might be able to push up, at least up to the highs of the day at 79,300 here. Let's go into the 1 hour time frame. Gives us a better idea of what the long-term picture might be for the day traders out here. And the 1 hour time frame, right? We are making lower highs here, okay? And on the MACD, we are seeing buying pressure dying down. It's the opposite of the 15 minutes. So the 15-minute selling pressure is dying down, but on here on the 1 hour, buying pressure is dying down. So, you know, maybe we make one last hoorah, try to get up to like the highs of the day at 79,300, and then we end up coming down to lower prices here. On the 1 hour time frame, we still got this 50 moving average that could act as resistance. So for you guys that are in longs right now, you know, you could try to take profit at the high of the day at 79,300. Another idea is to try to take some profit at that 50 moving average at 80,300. Okay, this could be where you can take some profit on your longs. All right, but I will also, you know, I would, you know, try to take some partial profits at like 79,300, and then take the rest of the profit at that 50 moving average if you're going to try to push your long up to higher prices here. Now, on the 1 hour market cipher B indicator, we did get a green buy dot just now as I'm live streaming right now. So maybe there might be, you know, another push up to higher prices here on Bitcoin. Maybe. But we do see that the MACD is showing that buying pressure is dying down. So that leads me to believe that, you know, yeah, we might get one last hoorah and then we finally go down later on tonight. You know, I'm expecting like when the Americans, right? You know, I'm an American, and then I think some of my viewers here are also from America as well. Most of them are. When they go to bed tonight, that's probably when the price of Bitcoin is going to go down, because the Americans are kind of keeping the market, you know, afloat here by buying Bitcoin. And when they're, you know, going to bed and not actually clicking the buy button, that's when I notice like Bitcoin actually starts selling off. So we might see Bitcoin sell off. Or there might be a drop later on tonight at like 10, 11 p.m. Eastern time, or maybe even like 2 a.m. if it's going to continue rallying. We might see, you know, a drop in the Bitcoin price at 2 a.m. Eastern time when people start going to bed. You said no audio. Hold on a second. You saying there's no audio? Why is there no audio? How do you hear me now? I just had Shergill said no audio here. Let me just double check my YouTube stream here too. You can hear me. Audio is fine. All right, that's interesting. I don't know why Shergill was saying no audio. Sometimes I have like my headphones that my headphones, the headset that I use to like, you know, listen to music when I'm at the gym, and sometimes it will connect itself with the Bluetooth here, and then you guys end up not hearing me as well. All right, thank you guys for letting me know that the audio is okay. The audio is good. I appreciate that. So yeah, Professor, like you asked me like where would you take profit on a long? Like, I know, don't get too greedy, but you know, maybe take some profit at 79,300 if you actually push up there in the next few hours here. And then I would try to take some profit at this 1 hour 50 moving average at 80,300 if we're going to take some profit at that area. Now, I'm actually in a Bitcoin short. I'm over here shorting Bitcoin on WEEX exchange. Okay. I got in not near the highs of the day, not at the very high of the day. I could have, you know, I could have shorted at 79,300 if I knew exactly that this was the top. But I did get in at 79,100, which is close to the top. And I have my ways and means of trying to figure out, you know, when things are topping out. I look at the 5-minute and 1-minute charts and look for, you know, possible lower highs. And I look for what's going on the MACD on the 5-minute, 1-minute time frame. So it helps me snipe out it helps me when it comes to sniping out, you know, short entries. But I'm not perfect. You know, I think 79,100. I'm really happy with that, you know, for a short. And you can see with my 40x short on Bitcoin, I'm up like 31% right now. Okay, I was up a little bit further because we did drop down early this afternoon, but right now, you know, I might not see my short play out. You know, if you guys are gonna keep buying Bitcoin on me, I'm not gonna see my short play out. Right now, I got my stop loss on this short at like a little bit above past break even, so I can cover the trading fees here. But I got my stop loss near break even at $79,050 here. I got in at 79,100. But if this doesn't play out, it doesn't play out. It's whatever. You know, I could probably take profit now, but then I don't know. I think my short could be good if we do drop down to 74,600. I'll be up 227% on that short. I'll make 188 bucks here, right? If I'm able to do that and not actually, you know, close out the trade until then. But that's what I'm doing right now. Is I'm trying to short Bitcoin. I thought this was like the highs for the day, and it kind of was. But if you guys are gonna like keep pushing Bitcoin up to higher prices, then my short's not gonna play out. I'm gonna get stopped out near break even, just enough to cover my trading fees here. So whatever, I'll try again. Maybe I short Bitcoin again at 80K, right? It's just an idea. No hard feelings, right? There shouldn't really be any feelings when it comes to day trading. It should all be logical for the most part, and you should be picking your levels here and then sticking to you know, sticking to your guns, sticking to your trades, moving your stop loss to break even when you can, when it makes sense to do so. And it's almost like robotic in nature. Okay, there shouldn't really be emotions. I mean, yeah, you are gonna have emotions as a trader. You know, you're gonna be happy when you make money. You're gonna be, you know, kind of disappointed when you lose money, right? But you gotta control your emotions as a day trader, and you can't just, you know, let your emotions take over and rule you. So, you know, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And that's another thing. It's like, you know, you're gonna be wrong, right? I'm right now because Bitcoin is below where I, you know, shorted it at. But I could be wrong later, okay? I mean, and if I'm worried about being wrong, I could take some profits right now on my short. But then what if Bitcoin just continues dropping? Then I'll be, you know, mad that I took very little profits when I could have, you know, seen the short play out some more, okay? But anyways, that's a little bit about, you know, being a trader and controlling your emotions there. I think you guys can hear it in my voice. I don't really get too emotional about anything, right? I keep it level-headed for the most part. I have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C, right? My plan B, if this short doesn't work, is I'm going to short Bitcoin at 80K. So I already know what the plan is. If Bitcoin goes to higher prices, I'm just gonna short it at a higher price and keep the stop loss relatively tight. Thank you, Shergo, for following me here on TikTok. Appreciate that. Professor says, Dan's takes profit and that profit on to the next short. Just a guy says, is there any chance at all we already hit the bottom? There's a chance, you know, there's a chance, but I already showed you on the monthly time frame, like, if we bottom out here, we need to start going up back to like 90K and 100K like pronto, because there's a lot of people that bought Bitcoin at 90K that are hurting right now. And if they don't see Bitcoin go up to like 85K or 90K to at least give them the hope that they could break even, they're gonna click the sell button, because they know Bitcoin can get violent out here. And they don't want to see 60K Bitcoin after they bought at 90K, you know, last month. All right. You know, last month we saw Bitcoin up as high as like almost 97,000, 98,000 almost. Yeah, how do you think the person that bought Bitcoin at 97,900 2 weeks ago feels right now? They feel like crap. So if we're not able to do a V-shaped recovery and give this person here some hope, then they're probably gonna click the sell button sooner rather than later, because they don't want to see, like, right now. Let's see. Let's figure. You know, the poor person that bought Bitcoin at 97,900. How far down are they in the hole? They're about 19, almost 20% down from where they bought at. All right. So if they put 100K into Bitcoin, they only have 80K now, right? Or if they put like 10 grand into Bitcoin, they only got 8 grand now, right? So they're hurting. Whoever bought here is hurting. And you guys need to push Bitcoin up to higher prices here to make them feel better about not clicking that sell button. Thank you, Singe, for following me here on TikTok. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are feeling bad right now about, you know, buying Bitcoin last month and also months prior to that. Because you have to think, there's also a line of people that feel bad. It's not just this guy here in January that bought Bitcoin at 97K. You know, what about the people that bought here in November? You know, there's a guy here that bought Bitcoin at 107K in November. It's like 3 months later. 3 months later, and you know, he's down probably 30%. Let's see. Let's measure this from like 107K here. He's down like 26% from where he bought at. Right? So kind of gets bad out there for these people. So there you go. You gotta think about the people that recently bought Bitcoin and how far into the hold they are right now. We need Bitcoin to start making a V-shaped recovery, or else they're gonna click the sell button and add to the chaos here. Lloyd258, thank you for following me here on TikTok. Appreciate that. My YouTube guys are being quiet. I appreciate the TikTok guys. You guys are showing up and smashing that like button. Let's see if we can get up to like 8,000 likes. We got like 6,500 likes here. If you guys double tap your screen, that's all I need is you know, get those likes here, and we'll try to get some more people showing up to the live stream. Appreciate that. OFG says, what do I think about? I mean, we've been talking about Bitcoin this whole live stream. I'm surprised no one else wants to talk about. No one wants to talk about any of their altcoins here. Does anybody have an altcoin that they're eyeing to like maybe buy at a cheap price right now? Because we've been talking about Bitcoin this whole stream here. And I'm curious, like, is anybody playing around with like gold and silver? All right, so yeah, so we got one guy here requesting Ondo. Thank you, I appreciate that. I've been talking about Bitcoin on the bigger time frames, the smaller time frames, back to the bigger time frames and smaller time frames all over again. But we finally got an altcoin request here, Ondo, and then we got someone that wants to take a look at Pengu. So all right, there you go, let's go. So this is not just a Bitcoin only live stream. We do talk about other coins here. And then just a guy who wants to look at FIDA. Okay, so I guess this is the point where we get into the requests here on the live stream. Professor says, can you help me understand a couple of things on charting when you get a chance, please? Yes, I could do that, Professor. What I also suggest is you come and join the Meet Damien Discord channel. I know you're on TikTok, so if you go here on TikTok, let me just get into my TikTok channel here. But if you go onto TikTok, over here there's a link tree. You click on that link tree, it will take you over to Linktree, and you have the Meet Damien Discord server, which is free to join right here. You click on that, and that should take you over to Discord, where you can come join the other traders here who are trading you know, cryptocurrencies. And we do talk about, you know, charts and entries and stop losses, and you know, what prices we're trying to get in at on these cryptocurrencies. But is this a way to get a hold of me when I'm not live streaming? Okay, so I would suggest you come join the Meet Damien Discord, free to join. And yeah, you can see what trades I'm getting into, and then you can see what trades other traders are doing. And we do have other experienced traders here who are doing pretty well, because I have a show your gains site here where we got some traders who are doing pretty well, like Michael here, up 77% on his auction trade, but it gets better than that. We got some other guys here up 594%. Cameron's one of our very experienced traders here on the Discord channel. You can probably learn a lot from him, but Cameron, I'm not sure if he's a teacher or an educator. He'll tell you some things here, but you know, you can always pick my brains, and I'm willing to teach, right? But Cameron, yeah, very experienced trader. Lorraine, she's getting better with her trades. She has a 50x short on MEXC that she was able to get, you know, 101% here. So, you know, we have, you know, traders here. There's Tony Starks. He likes trading his old coins here, up, you know, 422% on a 25x short on Bera. Okay. Every now and then you'll see me post my gains and shorts, but you can see, like, there's so many other traders here on my Discord that you can learn from besides myself, who are doing the thing and making some money and doing some crazy, you know, trades here. Once again, there's Cameron, 772% on a 400x short on Ethereum. He doesn't mind taking those crazy leverage trades here. I usually keep it like below 100x myself on any particular trade, but Cameron knows what he's doing, and he actually you know, does the thing here. Like, here's me, you know, when I get a chance to put my trade in there or show my gains, you know, there's me up, you know, 117%, a couple $100 on a 40x short on Bitcoin. Yes, I was shorting Bitcoin this weekend, and I got in, you know, there at 83k, got out at 81k, you know, for a nice, you know, healthy profit there on my Bitcoin short. So yeah, every now and then you'll see me throw in some of my trades, but I like this because, you know, we do have so many traders here who are pretty good, and you know, trading is hard. Day trading is hard. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Day trading is hard. We try to make it look easy, you know, by looking at the charts here, but it's still hard to, like, not only get in a good entry, but then to also you know, manage the trade. You know, when do you move your stop loss, you know, from where it is to like break even? When do you take profit? Like, all this stuff. And then when do you take partial profit? And all that stuff. That's something that you'll learn here by being on the Meet Damien channel here, and joining the Meet Damien community. And you'll learn a lot of this information here on the Meet Damien Discord server. That's why I think you should join. Okay. But anyways, let me get into the requests here. We gotta look at Ondo, Pengu, and FIDA. Was it FIDA? F-I-D-A? I think I wrote that down. Yeah, FIDA. Not FIFA, but FIDA. Okay. Alright, so let me get into this these altcoins here. We're gonna look at Ondo first. Uh-oh, Professor, what happened? You saying my Discord is not letting you join? Yeah, Laureen makes a good point, guys. Go ahead and follow me here on TikTok if you haven't done so already. So you got the real Meet Damien. There are some people trying to pretend to be me, and these pretenders are trying to scam people. So, you know, make sure you subscribe and follow right now since you're on the live stream. You know, this is the Meet Damien. I am Damien right here. Let me just quickly flip the camera. But yeah, you'll never see like anybody else, you know, besides me here if you follow this TikTok account right here, because this is the actual Meet Damien, not a scammer. Okay. How many members in the Discord? I think, you know, we're building up the Discord community right now. There's like I think 90 people on the Discord, and we're close to 100 right now. But yeah, I mean, it's not too many people yet, you know, where you can actually, you know, ask a question and I can actually get back to you and answer the question. So I know there's some Discords out there with like 40,000 or 20,000 people, and it's like sometimes that's just way too many people. On the Discord creator, the channel creator, he doesn't even show up because there's just way too many people and way too many questions, and it ends up running its own self. You know, it's like, but no, you'll see me show up on the Discord and answer your questions here. But anyways, let's get into the analysis here on Ondo. We're looking at Ondo in a daily time frame, up 3.7%, trading at 28 cents, 28.5 roughly. And wow, what the, yeah, Ondo definitely is in a downtrend and going through its own bear market. We have seen some of the highest prices here on Ondo back in December of 2024. That would be nice if we could see Ondo get back to $2.06, but Ondo is now down 90% roughly from where it was in November and December of 2024. And then it looks like Ondo, I would say, you know, you go into a bear market when you get below this red line here, this 200 moving average. You lost that 200 moving average here in October 6th, October 8th, right when, you know, Bitcoin was at its all-time highs. You know, we lost this this 200 moving average. Didn't even come back to retest it. That's unfortunate. But since then, this white 21 EMA, this is the 21 exponential moving average on the chart here, has acted as resistance and acted as a bully, pushing you down. Every time you come up to this 21 EMA, you get rejected. You come back up to it, you get rejected. Come up to it, rejected, rejected. Oh, this time there was a little bit of hope here in January where you actually got above it and you stayed above it for like the first week of January. However, You came down, you try to use it as support, and that was an idea here. All right, maybe Ando is trying to turn itself, you know, to higher prices, and we're gonna use the 21 EMA as support. But nope. You lost the 21 EMA here on Wednesday, January 14th, and this thing is, you know, this 21 EMA is still gonna act as a problem here until it's no longer a problem. All right. If anything, this is actually a great way to short. When you see Ando actually get up to the 21 EMA, that's an idea to try to take a short. You know, put your stop loss maybe a penny or two above where you get entered at. But right now, the 21 EMA is sitting at 34 cents. I would be looking for a short on Ando, okay? Until something different happens here. Until the 21 EMA no longer acts as a resistance, as a problem here. So this is your downtrend on Ando, making lower highs. Of course, you're making lower lows as well, okay? Right now, if I was to get into Ando, I would try to actually long it for a day trade. I haven't even looked at the smaller time frames yet, but I would try to long it, thinking that I could take profit when it hits 34 cents, if it ever does get back up to 34 cents here, okay? But I would try to, you know, for a day trade, I'd be looking for a long, right? But let's see. Is there anything here on the MACD and market cipher B that says that things might be changing for the better here? Selling pressure dying down, then it increased again. Selling pressure still an issue here. I would want to see this blue line start curving up and then curve up and actually cross the orange line to the upside before I would be confident about longing Ando here. I think Ando's still in a downtrend, could go to lower prices, right? Based off of what I see on the MACD, on the daily time frame here for Ando. Market cipher B showing that money flow still in the negative here, and you got a red sell dot here on Thursday. If you had a green buy dot that showed up, you could get like another day or two of, like, you know, higher prices here for Ando. But yeah, the daily time frame not really showing that Ando could be a good long here, okay? You don't really have the winds to your back on the daily time frame. But let's see what the 1 hour time frame is showing, because this is when I get into like looking for day trades. I want to look at the 1 hour time frame, see what things are doing on the 1 hour time frame. Ando on the 1 hour time frame, you got moving averages above you. That 50 moving average could act as a problem here at 29 cents. Then you got the 100 at 30, about 30.5 cents, and then you got the 200 at the 31 cent level here. I mean, if you want to take a long, I'd be looking for these as your take profit area. Take profit 1, take profit 2, take profit 3, right? Take some partial profit here, some partial profit here. Take all your profit when you get to 200 moving average on the 1 hour time frame. Let's see. Looking at the MACD here. MACD is showing that buying pressure was good earlier this morning, and then this afternoon buying pressure dying down here on Ando. So, you know, this is a problem here where we could probably see lower prices for Ando, because the 1 hour time frame is saying that we could see lower prices here for Ando, at least on the MACD. And then market cipher B, money flows in the green. Very interesting. You did have a green buy dot here that came in at 4 p.m. Eastern time here, about an hour ago. But then that could get canceled out with another red dot, so you just don't know. But like right now, what I'm worried about is the money flow, which was in the green and climbing, is now starting to come down a little bit here on Ando. So Ando could be going to lower prices later on tonight, going into tomorrow. All right, so maybe long and not really a good idea either here on Ando. Maybe you could wait until later on tonight, because we already had an idea looking at the momentum indicators that the price wants to go down. Maybe Ando at like 27 cents is a better idea to try to take a long if that's what you want to do, because then, you know, you might see Ando do something like this where we actually do come down to like 27 cents, maybe make a double bottom, get a reaction, and start going back up to higher prices again. Then you can identify that as a double bottom, and you can be more confident in long in Ando. All right, you said you're spot buying, so I kind of went into that. But you know what? It's good. I feel like it's good for me to talk about like what the day traders will be looking for, because one day you might decide to become a day trader yourself, or, you know, you can still learn what's a spot here. You know, instead of like looking at the 1 hour time frame, you could, like, you know, see what I look for. Like if this was a bigger time frame, you know, this is what we would be looking for to try to do a double bottom here and try to be confident about buying our spot bags on Ando here. But yeah, you can learn a lot, especially from a day trader, about what they spot for chart patterns and moving averages and I also talk about volume profile levels to look for and Fibonacci as well. But only if it makes sense for me to talk about that. I can do so many indicators here, but I think, you know, just using the moving averages, keeping it basic for now, is all you really need for Ondo. And I got into the 1 hour time frame there for you, but, you know, if you're just spot buying Ondo right now, I mean, okay, you could buy here at 27 cents and then what? Put the stop loss right below this candlewick low here at 25.5 cents. And if Ondo goes below 25.5 cents, maybe, you know, you don't want to take too many losses here, but you get stopped out at 25.5 cents, and maybe you could buy at 20 cents or 15 cents or somewhere lower if Ondo's going to continue to go to lower prices here. So there you go. All right. I still think being below 21 EMA is a problem, right? What I would like to see if I was a spot buyer of Ondo is I want to see Ondo actually get above the 21 EMA, this white line. Maybe make a higher high compared to what we did here. Okay. Come back, retest the 21 EMA. Then I would look to buy Ondo if it's going to the 21 EMA after getting above it. Okay. Maybe make a higher low off the 21 EMA and then go up to higher prices. So then you could buy right here, right? And you put your stop loss below here at 25 cents. And that would be a good spot buy, you know, for Ondo here. Okay. Right now, you just don't know. You could be buying right now, but then Ondo could just go down to 20 cents and then go to 15 cents. You just don't know. But if you see something like this, where you get above this 21 EMA, retest it as support, and then launch up again, then you know, all right, we're doing something different here. We're not going down anymore on Ondo. We're actually doing a change of direction. We're doing a reversal here. That's what I'd be looking for on Ondo as a spot bag long-term investor. I do not think the bottom is here yet on Ondo. You're gonna have to watch it some more and see how it behaves itself over the next week or two or the next month. Agnes wants to take a look at ENA. Okay, and I know I got some day traders here and some you know, regular long-term investors here. If you guys could let me know, like, do you want me to look at these assets on the daily time frame or the 1 hour time frame for my day traders? Let me know, because I know I got like a mixed bag of people here, but I appreciate you all of you guys here for coming on, taking a look at these charts here with me. You want to take a look at both? Okay. But I can't remember which one you requested though. All right, so we'll move on from Ondo. We're gonna take a look at Pudgy Penguins, and I'll look at Pudgy Penguins on the daily time frame, and then I'll try to do a little bit on the 1 hour time frame. Where is Pudgy Penguins? I know I got it on my watch list here. There it is. Pudgy Penguins currently trading below a penny at 0.0078 pennies. We're just gonna say 78.07 for now. On the daily time frame, Pudgy Penguins also having a problem with the 21 EMA. Okay, that white line. Okay. I just messed that up. Let me get rid of that. But just looking back at history here, Pudgy Penguins started going into his bear market when it got below this 200-day moving average. Okay. Pudgy Penguins actually did try to retest the 200-day moving average back here in October of last year. Lost it, and then since then, couldn't even get above the 21 EMA until like December. You tried using it as support, then you lost it. Came up above it, stayed above it. That was good. So Pudgy Penguin is one of those stronger meme coins out there. And it has shown that it can get above the 21 EMA, so that's good to see. But then we lost it here again here in January. And now here we are, we're below the 21 EMA one more time here. That 21 EMA is now sitting at a penny. I think if Pudgy Penguins goes up to a penny, the day traders, swing traders might try to take some profits there. Until we actually see Pudgy Penguins actually get above the 21 EMA, it's going to act as a problem. All right, I'd be looking to take some profit on day trading and longs at a penny here for Pudgy Penguins. Until we see Pudgy Penguins actually get above this, you know, 21 EMA, and actually it would be nice to see if it get above that 50-day simple moving average, sitting at 11,874. Alright, so I want to see something like this with Pudgy Penguins. I want to see Pudgy Penguins actually come up, get above the 21 EMA, get above the 50 moving average, maybe come back, maybe just stay above this 50 moving average. That'd be very good to see. That'd be better than the 21 EMA. But if it does go down to the 21 EMA, that's not a problem either. Show us that you can stay above the 21 EMA, this white line, make a higher low, and then you know, hey, we're doing something different here on Pudgy Penguins. We're actually making a higher, a high, and then a higher low versus making lower lows, okay? So if we can make a high, and then a higher low, and then start going up to higher prices here on Pudgy Penguins, then you got something different. You got something good, something that you can work with. But we shall see over the next few days and few weeks here. Is Pudgy Penguins going to do that? Or is Pudgy Penguins going to do this, right? Is Pudgy Penguins just going to go up to the 21 EMA, get rejected, come back down, make a lower low, right? Make a lower high, and then a lower low. You don't want to see that, right? You do not want to see that. But that's also a possibility here too, okay? So we just don't know. We just don't know. We want to see higher lows, right? To justify getting into a spot position, long-term trade or investment on Pudgy Penguins here. Guys, this is not financial advice. Let me just make that disclaimer out here. You guys can do whatever you want with your assets here. We're just looking at the charts, having fun, talking about the news. But, you guys are the ones that are clicking the buy and sell button. I don't do that for you. I don't want to do that for you. I don't want that pressure of did I make or lose you money? I don't want to be that role. I'm just a guy here on YouTube and TikTok who enjoys looking at charts and being a little bit educational when I can, and also being entertaining when I can. As a matter of fact, how could I be a financial advisor, right, when I'm over here posting up these awesome, amazing monster truck videos here on my TikTok, right? Do you know any financial advisor that does that? Because they're not doing that, and I'm not that guy. I'm not the financial advisor. I'm just a guy who been trading for a while. I got into crypto back in 2017, and I've been investing in the stock market since I was 18 years old. As soon as I got my first paycheck from an actual job, and I put my money into the stock market. That's how I learned some of all the stuff that I know. Okay, but yeah, I just figured I give out that disclaimer there first. Pudgy Penguins. We know that Pudgy Penguins is in a downtrend here. What does it look like here on the 1 hour time frame? Is there any hope for higher prices on Pudgy Penguins? On the 1 hour time frame, yeah, you got the low that came here on Saturday. We got down to like 7,000. Then you kind of make some higher lows here. That's good to see. I want to see some higher highs being formed here. The highest high that I see in this potential bear flag, right, is about 8,013. I want to see Pudgy Penguins get up to like 8,013 all over again here. The 50 moving average, this green line could act as a problem at 81.64. If that's not going to be a problem, then I think if this thing does climb up to the 200 moving average at 89.20, that could be a problem here for Pudgy Penguins to get past, right? But yeah, right now, market structure wise, kind of looks like a bear flag. For the pattern traders out there, they could be like, this is a bear flag here, guys, and it probably means we're going to go to lower prices. And if this is a bear flag on Pudgy Penguins, right, then we could probably drop down to this blue number here at 57.92, right? All I did was I just took this measured move here. Do I really need to draw out the flag here? I mean, I could, if you guys want to see like a nice little, flag or pennant here, right? But I just took this measured move here, all right, which is your flagpole of the upside down flag, or this bear flag here, and I just take this measured move and I put it to like where we could probably break down from Pudgy Penguins. Well, if we were to break down right now, right, it would take you to 57.92. But if it, if this is going to be a trend line that gets respected later on in the future, maybe it comes down here, comes up a little bit, and then breaks down. So then You know, in that case, I would just take this measure move, put it right over here, and it says like, you know, either way, like we're probably gonna go down to like a half a penny here. Not even a penny, but a half a penny here on Pudgy Penguins, right? You got this blue number right there, 5,410. This is where Pudgy Penguins could go down to, right? If this is a bear flag. Now, I mean, is it going to play out as a bear flag? Let's look at the momentum indicators to get some direction here on the 1 hour time frame. Market cipher B shows that money flow is in the green, but you got a red sold out here at 2 p.m. And then also money flow is starting to curve back down. So maybe Pudgy Penguin does want to go to lower prices later on tonight. Okay. And then here on the MACD indicator here, you can see that I'm sorry, not money flow. Buying pressure was coming in. Then it started tapering off around 11 a.m. Eastern time, and now buying pressure is coming down. If buying pressure continues going down, then what you'll see here on the MACD is you'll see this blue line cross the orange line to the downside, indicating a MACD crossover on the 1 hour time frame, and that's not good. That probably is what you'll see red candles start showing up here. You do not want that, okay? But that could be a possibility, especially if the price goes down and you know, we start seeing buying pressure die off and turning into selling pressure. That is going to be a confirmation to either take some profit on your Pudgy Penguins or maybe enter a short if that's what you want to do. And yeah, you could probably see that short play out where we see, you know, Pudgy Penguins come down to like a half a penny here. All right, let's move on from Pudgy Penguins. We'll go into FIDA. Bona FIDA? Is that what we're looking at? Ali Nia says, you are a beginner trader at 15. You're 15 years old and you're over here trying to do day trading? That's interesting. And that's awesome, actually. But at 15 years old, I don't think you're able to actually open up an account and trade with actual money. But what you could do is you could do demo trading. If you're 15 years old and you're over here trying to become a day trader, you could do demo accounts on like MEXC or what's it called? MEXC is one of them, and then WEEX. If you want to, you know, find those demo accounts and get started on that with the day trading and leverage trading, then if you go into my link tree, right? First, I know you're on TikTok, so if you go on TikTok, you go to the top of the screen, you click on link tree, you'll see my link tree show up, and it will look something like this. And then you can click on like WEEX or MEXC, and you could do a day trading. I mean, you could do a demo account on MEXC and WEEX here. If you go on like MEXC, let me see if I could pull that up here. On MEXC, weird. You want to do demo trading, okay? Which is just trading with fake money, okay? Because I don't think if you're under 18 years old, you know, you're not gonna be able to actually open up an account and trade. But now that I think about it, what is to stop a teenager here? Because all you need is like an email address, and you don't actually need to do KYC on these exchanges and stuff like that. You probably could day trade as a 15-year-old, to be honest. But even way, like, since you're brand new, I would still do demo trading if I was you. So you know, you're not really risking your money. Oh my god. But yeah, demo trading, I think all the beginner traders need to start demo trading first before they start actually using their actual hard-earned money. Let's see. Tariq says, what do I think about PX? Not Pixel. And then Bomza says, hey Damien, what do you think about the fibs? The fibs for what? What are we talking about fibs for? I need to get back to FIDA. I didn't even look at FIDA for this guy that was asking about it. Oh, I see Alva Medina has showed up here on YouTube. Thank you, Alva Medina, for showing up here. Alva Medina says, yo! Alva Medina, do you have any requests? Actually, I probably should. We've been live about an hour and a half here. Spoke about Bitcoin for like the longest time here. I don't know if I want to do any more requests than what I got right now. But Alvin Medina, I don't know. You tell me if you got a request, and I can do one for you. Thank you, Miss D, for following me here on TikTok. Thank you, Izinta, for following me here on TikTok as well. All right. Let's finish up the analysis here on, or get started here on the analysis here for Bonafide. Bonafide on the daily time frame also looks terrible, like a lot of these altcoins out there. Ever since October, you know, beginning of October, when Bitcoin was topping out at 126K, these altcoins have not had good months here, good weeks. It's been really bad. This thing has tried to get above the 21 EMA, this white line, every now and then, but can't stay above it for more than one day. It kind of did it here back here in November. We did stay above it for more than one day, but then you lost it. Okay, so this 21 EMA ain't gonna be a problem until it's no longer a problem. At 21 EMA, that white line sitting at 0.028 pennies. Get above that, and then maybe we can start talking. But you know, you have to get above it for more than one day, all right? Or else, you know, it's going to be another repeat pattern where we come up to 21 EMA and then we lose it and we go down to lower prices here. Also, I want to see us get it up to like at least the 50-day movement average. It shows that you have, you know, the vigor and strength to actually get up to about 4 cents here, which is where that 50 movement average is sitting at. I don't know. You got to get above this one first, and then you can try to go for this one. Let's see what we're looking at here on the MACD. MACD, selling pressure kind of dying off here. You need a selling pressure to continue dying off, and then see some buying pressure coming strong and vigorous here to go up to higher prices here. Market cipher B. Money flow is in the negative. You haven't seen green, and since the end of December. You're showing some bottoming signals here and creating a higher low here on the momentum wave. There could be a possibility that, you know, FIDA might, you know, go up to higher prices. All right, but we got to start seeing those higher prices, and we got to start seeing this money flow start getting poured into FIDA here. 1 hour time frame. I don't know if you're a day trader, right? On the 1 hour time frame, you got these other moving averages above you, which is you take partial profit here at 0.23 pennies, and then some more partial profit at 0.238, and then take, you know, some full profit here on that 200 moving average at 0.024 pennies here. That's what I would do if I was trying to long this thing. Looking at market cipher, looking at the MACD indicator here, buying pressure is dying down, so I don't know if we're gonna actually push our way up to that 200 moving average on the 1 hour time frame, but you would need buying pressure to start increasing again to do that. Right now, buying pressure is slowly dying off here on the 1 hour time frame, so this thing might go to lower prices later on tonight. Maureen pinned a comment here. Am I able to go back and look at that? Lorraine says, Damien, show fibs on here, how you use them. Yeah, okay, I could do that. You want to see it on this asset, I guess? I can show you maybe on here. Alright, so Fibonacci. Fibonacci. I would probably draw. Sorry, so let's usually on Fibonacci I'll do from swing low, swing high, but this thing actually swing lower than the last low here. If I was trying to do it like just from swing high to swing low here, it'd be something like this. And you know, you have Fibonacci extension targets to the upside. We get the 1272 and the 1618. Could show you like where this thing could go up to if it was going to continue being bullish here, but it wasn't. We actually ended up being bearish, and you can see that you know, when we topped out here at like 0.029 pennies, we came down to the 618 golden pocket, which is a normal retracement level, and we kind of hanged out there for the longest time before we lost those levels and went down to lower prices here. Okay. And we came down to lower prices. We came down below the 0.236 retracement, which is the deepest retracement level. We came down lower than what we started off here at 0.23 pennies, and now we, you know, I mean, how do you measure where we could go if we're going to the downside here? I would have to flip this Fibonacci upside down, right? So in this case, I would draw another Fibonacci here from the swing high to this possible swing low here. Actually, I gotta do it the other way. So I have to redo this here. I gotta start from the bottom here, right? Because I'm trying to figure out extension levels to the downside. So starting from the bottom here to the top gives me Fibonacci extension levels to the downside. Okay, and this is showing that we could see FIDA come down to like 0.019 pennies. Is an idea here. That's your 1272 Fibonacci extension to the downside, and then more for the downside, 1618 Fibonacci extension shows that this thing could go down to like 0.016 pennies here. Okay, and those are your extension levels to the downside, which gives you an idea of like how far down you could go. You could go on FIDA here. Now looking back, you know, with this upside down Fibonacci, right, which is good for like shorting if you're trying to short and you're trying to figure out how far you're going to go down. But if we were to climb back up here, you do have a 786 retracement at 0.0222 pennies is where this thing could climb back up, get rejected. And then you got the golden pocket now sitting at 0.023 and 0.024, which looks like it's confluent with this 100 moving average on the 1 hour time frame at 0.238. So that's probably where I would target to take some profit, right? Using this Fibonacci. Alright, so that's a little bit of Fibonacci there. Now let's move on to ENA. ENA USD. I think this is called Athena, right? ENA, Athena. Currently trading at 14 cents. Let's get into the daily time frame. Oh my god. This thing is dropping like a rock. You lost the 200 moving average here in October 28th. Didn't even back test it to like confirm it. You just like drop like a rock and continue dropping like a rock. 21 you may acting like a problem. Every time you come up to it, you get rejected. You kind of like try to stay on it for support back here in December, but then you lost it. Then you came up above it, tried to use it as support. This was like a little bit of hopium right here, but then you lost it here in January. Okay, so that's a problem. And 21 EMA is going to still be a problem. Right now it's at 0.18 pennies here. 18 cents. Okay, 18 cents is where I would take profit if I was trying to de-risk on my spot bags, or if I was long in now and trying to take some profit, I would definitely take profit at that 21 EMA. Bless me. Whew. Had a little sneeze there. Is there anything showing that we're going to probably bottom out right now? Well, you kind of came down, you know, on Saturday here to lows that you saw back here on October 10th when we came down to like 13 cents. Let's see, Saturday we came down to 12 cents. Okay, still fits the double bottom possibility idea here. But are you actually getting buyers to show up? I want to look at the RSI in that case. Okay, let me look at the RSI real quick here. No, I don't see any bullish divergence here on the RSI on the daily time frame. So that's the problem. The only thing you could probably say is that maybe you got an oversold bounce, oversold dip here, where this thing was oversold at 24 on the RSI. But that's it. I mean, you don't got any bullish divergence here. MACD indicator on the daily time frame. Selling pressure was an issue, and it still is an issue. Like, selling pressure was starting to die down here towards the end of January, and then it started increasing again going into this last week here. So that's a problem. Pixel, you said you bought Solana at $200. You're in a big loss now. What's my advice? Well, I don't give out financial advice. I'm not sure when you bought Solana at $200 because it was at $200 last year. So I'm assuming you bought it last year. Let me see if I look at Solana. I'll look at Solana real quick here. Solana at $104. You're down roughly 50%. So this is where I was getting concerned about Solana last year. Let me look at the you know, look at the moving averages here real quick. So Solana in September 18th was as high as like 250 bucks. Came down, made a low. Came back up here to like $237. $237 roughly. This ended up being a lower high compared to the highs here in early September. So that was like your warning signal right there to try to get out of Solana. Okay. First warning signal. Okay. Then we came down, made a lower low than what we did here in the middle of September. So this was kind of like another warning sign that, you know, Solana not really, because now you're making a lower, you made a lower high, and then you made a lower low. So this is like your warning signal to get out of Solana. Okay. Then Solana tried to stay above the 200 moving average here. Okay. The 200 simple moving average. In this case, it was like around $179 here on November 1st. But then you did another bad thing here on Solana. You lost the 200 simple moving average on the daily time frame. That happened here on November 3rd. You know, we needed to stay above $179, and Solana just boom, lost it. Closed the day below it. Then the next day was another bad day where Solana went down to like 146 bucks, but then it closed out at 154. This was your opportunity to try and get rid of some of your Solana, right? Because now you know, like, this 200-day moving average is not gonna, we're not gonna be able to get back up to it. And then here's your other warning sign. Your opportunity to get out of Solana was like right around here in the second week of November, when we try to climb up. This ended up being a bear flag, and we got as high as like $171. We didn't even get back up to the 200 moving average. The 200 moving average on like November 11th was $171. Now I know this ain't helping you out, you know, as far as like, you know, your spot bags right now, but hopefully in the future you can look at, you know, the things that I'm looking at here in the charts to help you figure out like when's a good time to get out of Solana, especially if things aren't looking so good. Okay, and here we didn't even climb back up to the 200 moving average before we got sent back down to lower prices again. Now, you know, when you came down and you lost these candlewick lows here at $146, that was another opportunity to like maybe take some, you know, sell some of your Solana. But you had like all these warning signs here, right? First, you know, back here when you made a low, lower than what you did back here in August and September. Then you had another warning sign when you made a lower high from what you did here in, you know, the middle of September. Then you had another warning sign when you made a lower low compared to what you did here towards the end of September, when, you know, you got a lower low here in October. Okay, so you had your lower highs to get out of Solana. You also had your lower lows that were showing you that things were a problem here. You also had your 200 moving average that was showing you that this was your last line of defense here before things get worse. Then things did get worse, and you weren't even able to get back up to the last line of defense here before they got worse and worse and worse. Yeah. So, hopefully you're able to take something out of that. You know, and the next time when you actually do have profits in Solana, you can look at these, you know, these warning signs and back test things and see how like things can get worse and worse and worse. Especially if you're not willing to, shed your spot bags and de-risk, or take your profits. If you don't take your profits, if you don't de-risk, yeah, things can get worse. Especially after losing that 200 moving average, things did get worse here for Solana. Yeah. Is Solana going to be able to climb back up? MACD showing that, you know, Solana has selling pressure here in January, and started dying off here towards the last week of January. Then it started increasing the last few days here. So I think things are going to get worse here for Solana. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I know you probably don't want to hear that, but I'm not going to give you financial advice. But one thing to do is maybe sell half of what you got here, so it doesn't hurt so much. And then you can buy back and again at a lower price. Maybe when Solana goes like 80 bucks or 60 bucks. Zooming out, you know, how much lower could Solana go? Well, we saw Solana last year at $95. And $95 doesn't hold up. That's going to get really bad for Solana. Let me throw in the VRVP indicator here. VRVP indicator off to the right is showing you where people were buying and selling Solana over the last, I got data going back to like 2023, so like almost like the last 3 years here. There is a high volume node here at like $75. That's where Solana could go next if we lose 95 bucks. If we lose $75, then the next high volume node here is somewhere around 60 bucks. Solana could go to 60 bucks here before we start getting some support. Okay, and like where is this data pulling off? I mean, you do have some sideways trading action over here. Yeah, back here in like was it November of 2023? You saw Solana at like 60 bucks. The people here are still in profit. They're not going to click the sell button until we lose 60 bucks here. So these people are going to probably save your butt from going to lower prices on Solana, okay? Because there's some sideways trading action going on. You got a little bit of a support area at 60 bucks here, and you also got a little bit of a support area at 75 bucks here for Solana as well, okay? So those are your downside targets where you can buy some cheaper Solana if that's what you want to do. You know, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but an idea is to sell some Solana right now and then try to buy back in again at 75 or buy back in again at 60. Thank you, Monkey Hill, for following me here on TikTok. Appreciate that. Definitely getting a few more followers here. Appreciate that. We're coming up on like 2 hours here on my live stream, guys. I usually go live for about 2 hours before I call it quits here. So I think it's almost close to quitting time here. Alvin Medina says he's going to go back and watch the talk about Bitcoin. Yeah, you should do that. That's be a good idea. And I think we covered up a good amount of coins. We talked about Ondo, Pengu, FIDA, ENA, and Solana here. And we did a lot of talking about Bitcoin because you guys kept asking me about Bitcoin on the large time frames, small time frames, CME gaps and stuff like that. And, you know, how much lower could Bitcoin go if we are going into a bear market. I gave you my bear market low for Bitcoin, possibly like 43K. 67K also shows up on the charts as well. We spotted 63K for some reason. Yeah, that was like where Bitcoin was trading sideways here in like March and April of 2024. Like almost the majority of 2024, Bitcoin was at like 63K. But yeah, I'm just gonna finish up here with Bitcoin as best as I can here. I got the VRVP indicator here, and just zooming out and getting a data going all the way back to like 2022. You can see that Bitcoin does have a high volume node here at 43K. That's where I think Bitcoin could go for the bear market if we're going to get a nasty and violent bear market. 43K is where a good area to start buying Bitcoin if you can. Then there's also some stuff here at like 51, 52K. But then there's like more volume here at like 63K, which I already identified here. That was a red line. So I think people will buy Bitcoin at 63K or 60K because they figure, hey, if Bitcoin goes back to 126K, you can double your money if you buy Bitcoin at 60K, right? And then also I think, you know, 40K is an idea here because if we go down to like 43K, you could be like, all right, I'll buy Bitcoin at 43K, and if we go back to 126K, I tripled my money if we go back to all-time highs again. And I think that's when the buyers are going to start showing up again, is when we go to like 62, 63K, and also 40K. Well, let's see. Let's look at Bitcoin on the 1 hour time frame to figure out what it's going to do tonight. What are you going to do, Bitcoin? I think Bitcoin's trying to go up. Let me get rid of the video up. All right. Over the last couple hours since I went live streaming, you know, Bitcoin's been climbing. You know, we went up 2 hours ago, and then also we went up this hour as well. But we could still climb and still make a lower high compared to what we did here earlier today. We got to get up to like 79,339 for us to get back up to the highs of the day. And that's where I got my stop loss on my short. Right now I'm shorting Bitcoin. It's just an idea. I'm only up 18%. I was up a little bit more earlier this afternoon. But with my 40x short on Bitcoin, you know, my entry was at 79,100. My stop loss is now a little bit further in profit at break even, 79,050. I should be able to cover my trading fees here. But I am trying to short Bitcoin if I can down to 74,600, and I'll be up 227%, and I'll make $188 on that trade there. All right, so that's just an idea. And if you guys want to trade on WEEX Exchange, the link is in my link tree. It's also should be in the description to this video here for my YouTube guys, and it should also be in the description to the channel as well for YouTube. And for my TikTok guys, if you want to start trading on WEEX, right? You click on that link right there for the link tree on my bio, and that will take you over to the link tree, and then you just click over here where it says secure trading on WEEX Exchange, and you could also do MEXC if you wanted to as well, and then you'll get started, you know, where you could start trading on WEEX Exchange here, where they do got some bonuses here. If you just put $100 in, you'll get $50 back. Simple enough, easy enough. Make sure that you got the referral code in there, XVDP, or else I don't get, you know, credit for the referral here. But they do got some promotions here on WEEX Exchange. I think they got up to like $30,000 of promotions here. Yeah, they got like a new user unlock $30,000 of bonuses here. Where, you know, depending upon how much money you put on the exchange and how much money you start trading with, you can start taking advantage of some of these bonuses here that they got on WEEX. I think it's just showing the bonuses that I already got, but they, I think I showed, like, you know, if you put like I think $5,000 on the exchange, you know, they'll give you like a $5,000 airdrop to start trading for free on WEEX. I think I got this. I already hit those bonuses already, so it's not really showing up right now. But yeah, here's one, right? If you reach, if I reach, you know, a futures trading volume of like $300 million, I can claim $1,000 of a future bonus here. So there's still some bonuses that I haven't even claimed yet. All right, and then for MEXC, right? If you want to start trading on MEXC, let's see if I can pull this up. But for my TikTok guys, you get that link tree one more time. You click on trade crypto on MEXC, and you know, it will ask you, you know, if you want to start trading with them, and then you can claim up to like a $10,000 bonus is what this is showing right here. There's my referral code there for MEXC, MEXC-3IDOF. Make sure you got that in your referral code here, or else I don't get the credit for referring you here on MEXC. But yeah, you can start trading on MEXC as well. And let me just show you what MEXC trading looks like. MEXC is actually pretty cool because they got the lowest trading fees in the game here. And MEXC, you could trade like 500x leverage on Bitcoin, 500x leverage on Ethereum, 300x leverage on Solana, and some of these coins, the fees are so low, it's actually free. Like Solana, you can trade Solana perpetual futures here for free. You can trade silver on MEXC for free. Trade XRP for free. Okay. What else? Dogecoin's free. Binance and Aster's free. You can also trade gold here. They don't have free trading fees, but the trading fees are really low. It's like less than $1 to get into a trade and getting in and out of trade. It's like $1 or less, depending upon how much trading you're doing, how big of a position you're taking. But yeah, that's MEXC in a nutshell there too. Both exchanges I like MEXC and WEEX, and I use both of them to do my day trading here. But anyways, let's try to figure out, you know, is Bitcoin going to climb up and stop me out tonight on my short? On the 1 hour time frame, the moving average convergence divergence, the buying pressure is dying off. Not strong enough, no, but I need the buying pressure to go down faster than this, or else they will stop me out on my short. Market Cipher B is showing a green buy dot here that came out at 4 p.m. Eastern time, and money flow is kind of decreasing, so that's a little bit conflicting here, conflicting signals here. It says buy, but money flow is coming down. I don't know. I mean, I think, you know, what will probably end up happening is they're going to try to stop me out. They're going to try to, you know, push us back up to 79K. Maybe stop me out, and then they'll send it down. But I do think, you know, because buying pressure is dying down here in the 1 hour time frame, that we will see lower prices eventually later on tonight. We just might climb up a little bit more in the next hour or two and then go down. And if we do go down, I'm looking to see, you know, are we going to actually come down to 75K all over again? which I think, you know, will give you guys an opportunity to buy Bitcoin, because how many people were able to buy Bitcoin last night, or, you know, around like 74, 75K? You only had like 1, 2, 3, 4 hours to do that, and that's if you were awake, because this happened like last night while, you know, many people in America were sleeping, and then Bitcoin started going up. So maybe before you go to bed, you know, check the price of Bitcoin and see if you can buy it at a cheaper price at like 75K again. You might be able to do so later on tonight, and then you can take yourself tomorrow morning if Bitcoin does climb back up to like 78, 80K. You can be like, yeah, I got in at 75K, and all I had to do was just buy while everybody else was sleeping and not clicking the buy button. But yeah, that's just an idea there, guys. Tariq asked me, can you do spot on MEXC and WEEX? Yeah, you could definitely do spot. I talk about day trading. So like any of these exchanges, if you're able to do futures trading, you for sure they'll let you do spot trading on there as well. Yeah. Let me just go back. I'll go back to MEXC. So if you just want to do regular spot trading on MEXC, right? Let me see if I can find this real quick here. You just want to go to like the regular exchange here, right? Let me just see. Like all right, let's say you want to buy Solana, right? You type in Solana here, and you could do futures trading. You could do perpetual futures of Solana, or you could do regular spot, right? There you go. So if you want to just do spot, you click spot. It's gonna load it up. This is like the regular exchange here, and that's it. You're not really doing leverage trading. There's no leverage. There's no like 10x, 20x, 100x leverage. You just put in, you know, how much, you know, Solana you want to buy, and let's see. Yeah, you put on how much Solana you want to buy and at what price, and you can do a limit order or a market order, right? Just like you do on all these other exchanges here. Okay. But yeah, you could definitely, yeah, for sure, you could definitely do spot trading on MEXC, and you can do it on WEEX as well. And then there you go. Lorraine just said yes, you can do spot trading. So there you go. And thank you, Lorraine, for letting people know to join the Discord and subscribe. Appreciate that. Make sure, yeah, guys, definitely follow me here on TikTok if you haven't done so, and subscribe here on YouTube as well, because you don't want, you know, to get stuck with the copycats here trying to pretend to be me. Yes, Tariq, that is why another reason why I love using MEXC. MEXC is cheaper to use than Coinbase, and also WEEX is also cheaper to use than Coinbase. Okay. And then you can just, you know, take your profits from MEXC and WEEX and move it back to Coinbase, and then cash out on Coinbase to get your US dollars. But yeah, I mainly use Coinbase just to cash out and go into dollars. Other than that, when I'm doing my trading and even my investing, well, my trading I do on MEXC and WEEX for the most part. And then as far as investing goes, I take the coins off the exchange and put them on a wallet, you know, on like a cold storage wallet. That's the best way to navigate yourself in the cryptocurrency world here. But yeah, that's why I bring it up to you guys. You should check out MEXC and WEEX, and the links, you know, on my link tree there. You got WEEX and you got MEXC here on my Linktree site, and you can go on TikTok here one more time. Click on that Linktree to get you over to Linktree. Okay. And my YouTube guys, if you go on to Meet Damien, let's see, I'm gonna have to go here, but like put the if you go over to my channel here, you should see in the links here, there's Linktree right there. Okay, and then also you got the link here for WEEX. I even put up the link here for MEXC as well to get started on that. There's a Discord link there too. So it's all there, guys. It's all there for you to get started. And the first step to success here, guys, is getting started. You guys got to get started. Yep. Tariq says, can you cash out on MEXC? MEXC usually does USDT. If you want to cash out, you have to do KYC, and I'm not sure what country you're in, but you know, certain countries you wouldn't be able to do that, depending upon what country you're in. All right, but you don't even have to. You just cash out by going into Tether, right? You go into Tether. Where's MEXC? There we go. Yeah, you just go into USDT Tether, right? You sell off your you know, where is it? Tether. Well, anyways, I don't want to get into my wallets here and show off my information, but you can go into Tether and then send Tether to Coinbase and then cash out on Coinbase. Back in the dollars again. But be careful what you do there, because with Tether, you have to make sure you're using the right network. There's like Binance network, and then there's like Ethereum network and some other networks, I think like Tron and stuff like that. I think Coinbase uses Ethereum network, so when you send money from MEXC over to back to Coinbase, you want to make sure you're using the Ethereum network to send that Tether, or else you might lose your money. All right. So usually what I do is, just to make sure I did everything right, I'll send like 10 or 20 bucks of Tether to Coinbase, just to make sure I did everything right, and then I'll send whatever money that I'm actually trying to. So I'll do like a test transaction. Yeah, you pay a little bit extra in fees, but hey, that's better than losing all your money that you were planning on sending, right? So I'll do a test transaction, and then I'll send the Tether over to Coinbase. And then on Coinbase, you just sell the Tether back into dollars, and then you're good to go. Yeah. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this live stream. It looks like Bitcoin wants to climb up to 79K one more time here. But then I think later on tonight, that will be it. And then we probably might get a sell-off later on tonight, going into tomorrow morning. And then we'll just see. You know, tomorrow morning might be a better time to buy some cheaper Bitcoin again. All right, so we'll see. We'll see. But that's going to be it for this live stream, guys. Good luck trading and investing in whatever asset you get into. And check me out for tomorrow. I'll try to go live again, same time, 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern time is when I normally go live. And also check out some of my YouTube shorts and some of my TikTok videos here. I did some videos about Bitcoin and where I think, you know, the bear market targets might be. And then I also did some cool videos here on TikTok and YouTube showing the monster truck rally that I went to this weekend. I did some pretty cool videos with that too. So go ahead and check out those videos too, and give me a like here on those videos if you can. Appreciate that. All right, guys, I will see you guys tomorrow, same time. Take care.